You know, there is a saying that it's not over until it's over. But who decides when it's over? Regardless of the trials, difficulties, hardships, regular migration even, some people never give up. They never give in. As an adolescent, he and his family lived at Frog City. He flunked all subjects at the end of high school. Today's guest navigated his way from the community of windscreen wipers to a doctorate in education. For the next half an hour, we'll get an update on Dr. Howard Harvey. This is Profile. I am Faye Ellington. I'm calling this an update because this guest appeared on this program a few years ago. But we have to get an update when you do things like find yourself with a doctorate. You know, we have to get it. Plus, some people may not have seen the story. How you do?
Not too bad at all.
Do I say Dr. Harvey?
You can.
Do I say Howard?
Howard is fine.
All right, fine. Now, I'd like you to just fill us in, because when you left high school, you never had a single subject, but
No.
you now have a doctorate in education. What happened between birth and your teenage years?
Well, what happened, when I was a youngster, I realized that we were living in Arnett Garden. And by the time I realized we had to migrate and go to an area called Frog City, when I later checked it out, it was an economic move for my parents. They couldn't afford the bills there, the rents and stuff. And Frog City was an open land, and so they go there and capture the land. No rent, no water, no light bill to pay. And so that was very economical for them. My stepfather was the one who actually visioned out that kind of opportunity for us. And so he used it as a way to make life easier for us. But on the same page, it wasn't as easy, because here comes brothers and sisters, and the family grew larger, and he didn't get any upgrade in his economic viability.
How many siblings do you have?
7 brothers and 2 sisters.
So
and I was the eldest at the time.
You were the
At home,
eldest. He
right.
was your step. I noticed you didn't mention your father. He wasn't in the picture at all.
No, my father was a donor, it seems, at the time.
I get you.
Right, but my stepfather was very vigilant in my
Maybe
life.
you should say his name.
My stepfather, Selvin Spencer, they usually call him Big Man.
And your mother's name?
Francella Pattison, Sis is their nickname.
So they really held that family together.
Right, and they were very diligent in doing that. It was like a passion for them. Even though it was struggling, they find all kind of reasons to keep it together. And my stepfather was very adamant that we need to make sure that we learn from him in terms of putting ourselves out there to become better citizens.
So if they were living on captured land and they didn't have any jobs, so to speak,
No.
how do they provide for all of you?
My stepfather was a hustler, just like me, because I got the hustling from him. He would dig pits, create cold skill. He would work any odd jobs anywhere. And because he was very huge in his body, he can sustain any hard work. And sometimes he would take me along with him, and you could see him just really go on, because he had to provide for us. And he made a mantra to make sure that he gave us all he could, but it wasn't enough.
You say it wasn't enough. Let's take you to school.
Right.
What schools you attended?
Well, I got the opportunity to go to Maxfield Park Primary and then transit into Norman Manley, just by the way of movements. And because of that, most of my brothers and sisters, they have to get the priority to go to school. So as the eldest, while my parents go out to hustle to maintain the family, my responsibility was to care for them and to send them after school. So many of the times, I either have to go to school late or don't get the opportunity to go, because the chores that I had to do to prepare them to go to school, it was too overwhelming.
Did the teachers notice that this was happening? And if so, how did they intervene?
No, they didn't know, because in those days, there's a lot of pride about some things. So when you go, you go. When you don't go, you don't go. And so teachers there were very inspirational when you are there. But when you're not, they don't extend that thing. And then one day, I found a lovely lady. She's a librarian, Miss Smith, and she was one of the teachers now that wanted to intervene and create an opportunity. She was very inspirational.
How did she do that?
Well, I remember significantly, she created a paradigm in me, because that was the first birthday I've ever recognized. And she found that it was my birthday, and she gave me some recognition. And from that day,
Now, how old were you then?
I think I was like about late 16.
Yes.
And that was significant. Life meant something there because at that point somebody recognized that you have a birthday and you should get some kind of recognition for it. Imagine that.
Yeah. How old? Well, you were going to school or not going to school
Yeah.
because you weren't going. You were preparing the other children for what they had to do. Did they all go to school, or they were doing what you were doing, some of them not going either?
No, some for schooling at the time they had to go because the responsibility was that was my job. And once I do my chores, they have to go off. And my stepfather, he pushed for school, even though he was very low in the academics, but he pushed for school, so they had to go. But I find that many times some of them didn't want to go anyway because of the struggles with the limited resources, and the thing couldn't extend. So sometimes some of them don't go, and sometimes I don't go at all. And in not going, I have to find another way.
And what way did you find?
Right, we decided that we have to find a way, and the streets was one of the ways to get that resource, to hustle.
To hustle?
Yeah, so the word was hustling.
So what you did on the streets?
Just about anything, but windscreen wiping was very lucrative. We tried a number of activities. Begging was one initially. You do all kind of odd things on the street if you get it to do, but windscreen wiping we found New Kingston, Trafalgar Road, Halfway Tree, YMCA there, was very lucrative. And we created a platform there to provide a service in our mind. But it was the hustling. We wanted the money, but the service was what we were trying to provide.
How old were you when you first went out to do your windscreen wiping?
I think I was in the latter part of my high school days.
Oh, so you're still at school and you're doing this to make ends meet.
Right, to make ends meet.
So when you went and joined those young men there the first day, they never look at you strange like, oh, where him come from?
Yeah, man, because in those days, it's territorial thing going on, and hustling was a big thing because, like, we thought we were the only set of boys from our community, but other boys are out there trying to make ends meet too. So when you go out there, you go out as a crew. And so it was like fierce competition, but no harm done, but probably steer down and territorial protection and all these kind of things.
Many women complain, women drivers,
Yes.
about the way windscreen wipers approach them or threaten them with
Right.
what they have to say or do. When you were out there doing that, you did do any of that?
Yes, because let me tell you, there is like a war. You are trying to bang on the glass ceiling of the fortunate, and we felt that their obligation was to give us whatever we need at the time. So if we come to wipe the windscreen, they're supposed to say yes. That's what we believe. And if we come to ask them for anything, they're supposed to give us. But I realized, a crew of us realized that no, there's actually a way of doing it which is more charismatic, if I may use a word like that. And so we start looking at it. We bought a thing called Windex that has a color, and it seemed like it's like a product. So we start offering like a service now with two shamai, one that do the dirty part and one that do the shine. So we found that work. So we keep working it, and we realize now that there needs to be a relationship part of it. So sometimes when we come to our customers, after a while we start calling them customers. And they said no, we say, all right, today we're going to give you a wipe. And we'll give them a wipe genuinely free with the Windex and all. Until after a while, it's a relationship. Then we reach the point where we have customers. So today we'll come and say, no matter wipe it today, and you will give me my regular money without me wiping. Until after a while, the income was coming in because we had developed a relationship out there. And so one of the things, though, is that sometimes the motorists, they tend to wind up the windscreen, the window. Mm-hmm. It sends an intimidating message or a defacing message or a bring down message, a message that's saying that we don't want you here and belittlement.
I hear you.
Right, so it creates animosity.
I hear you.
So what I suggest that
go ahead.
The motorists can create this paradigm where they have a relationship, ask us questions, talk to us.
But some of the boy, them man, the way them approach you between me and you,
yeah.
It make you feel, as a woman, you feel threatened. And then some others are more, and you say no, and they don't do it. But
right.
some of them, and them flash the dirty water upon you, and
Well, some of us are coming from some deep psychological problems, abuse from home, lack of parenting, poor fathering. And so these young men are not geared in a way where they can control emotion. And you know that there's a serious emotional problem in Jamaica, the thing called emotional intelligence, how to manage emotion under certain circumstances. This is not taught in school, but it is taught in the home. And I believe the father figure whether it's your personal father or a male figure,
Or you
will
like
give
your
you that kind of
stepdad.
thing. Right.
How
So my
Harvey?
stepdad was the one who did that.
Yes, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you have to tell me what happened at the YMCA that helped you to turn your life around.
Okay.
Doctor, please, Howard Harvey is my guest. We'll be right back with part two in terms of the second part, not part two, but the second part of this interview in this evening. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.